Hello to everyone again. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm really excited to be here and chat with you. A bit about myself. So my name is Sethi. I'm a field CTO here at Google, where I partner closely with founders and executives and help them bridge the gap between Google's deep technical capabilities and their unique business ambitions. And before this, I've also spent some time at VMware and even founded a couple of startups. So I've spent a fair amount of time in the trenches thinking about building systems that are scalable, reliable, and ready for the future. And like many of you, I'm a learner and I enjoy getting my hands on, getting hands on with new technology tools and figuring out how it can solve real problems. And AI is definitely top of that list right now. So here's our game plan for today. So first, we'll set the stage. We'll look briefly at Google's approach to AI and how we got here. And then we'll shine the spotlight on Gemini and discuss what the latest models offer and how they differentiate. Then we'll look at our unified Vertex AI platform stack, and then also spend some time exploring the tools available for building agents, because I know many of you guys are interested in learning about agents. And then finally, we'll wrap up and have some time for Q&A. But before I get started, I just want to say this: 1 hour is really not enough to learn enough about this space. So my goal is to get you excited about this space and give you enough, and then we're gonna maybe have follow-up conversations and deep dives into different topics of interest. So diving in now, when you think of Google Cloud's AI strategy, a core principle is flexibility and choice. And this slide really lays out the stack, and it's designed so you're not logged in. So think about it from the ground up. We enable you to access your data wherever it lives, even if it is other clouds. Then you can choose the hardware that suits your needs. So it could be Google's own TPUs, NVIDIA's GPUs, and then we have an efficient compute stack to manage all of this. And you can also bring your favorite frameworks such as PyTorch, TensorFlow, JAX, you name it. And then you get the access to the best models from Google, our partners, and the open ecosystem, all in the model garden. And then there's a dedicated layer of tooling at the top to build agentic systems. And so what this means is you can tailor the stack to your needs and existing expertise rather than being forced into a rigid structure. And so this reflects the broader AI platform shift. Just like the internet and mobile era, AI requires new platforms, and Google aims to provide flexible ones. And this comprehensive stack is built on decades of innovation. And many of you would already know this. Google fundamentally had to invent many core AI and infrastructure technologies, such as the transformer model, TPUs, and even Kubernetes to operate at Google scale. And that research heritage from Google Research and DeepMind directly flows into the capabilities we get to use today on GCP and products like Gemini and Vertex AI. Then responsible AI is foundational. So safety, ethics, fairness principles, they're all baked into how models are trained and the safety tools we provide. I want to zoom in on the powerhouse, which is the Gemini 2.5 Pro model, which is currently available in public preview on Vertex AI. So you can start experimenting with it right now. And it truly represents the cutting edge of Google's AI. So you can see the benchmarks here. It's really pushing the boundaries. It's consistently topping leaderboards, including human preference ones like the alum arena, where it's excelling in tasks that require advanced coding and complex reasoning capabilities, which makes it a better suited model for understanding intricate logic and solving some really challenging problems. Then unmatched long context is a huge one. So we're talking 1 million tokens right now in preview, and then support for 2 million coming down the road. And so what this means is you can throw massive amounts of information at it in a single prompt. So think hours of videos, entire code repositories, lengthy reports, or huge technical manuals. And that allows for deep analysis and Q&A across vast data sets without needing complex chunking or retrieval logic. Then Gemini isn't just text. It was built from the ground up for understanding text, images, audios, and videos all together. And this native multimodality means it can reason fluidly across these different sources of information. And I like to describe it as a thinking model because it's designed to break down complex problems into steps while showing its work, which makes it a better suited model for tasks that require planning or multi-step logic. Then support for native tooling is another powerful feature that it supports. So you can define tools for calling APIs or grounding with Google search, and it can intelligently decide when and how to call these tools based on the user's prompt. And last but not the least, while it's more capable, it's also highly optimized for performance, which makes it much faster compared to many other top-tier models. So the key takeaway here for Gemini 2.5 Pro is that it's providing that next level of intelligence, context handling, and interactivity needed for building truly sophisticated next-gen AI applications. So we just looked at Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is incredible for those really complex, demanding tasks. But not every task needs that level of horsepower, right? And often we need to balance capability with the speed and cost. And so that's exactly where 2.5 Flash comes in. And so think of it as a workhorse model in the Gemini family. It is designed to give you fantastic performance and seriously impressive quality that gets close to the bigger models, but at a significantly lower cost and lower latency. And that makes a lot more use cases economically viable. So for interactive applications like chatbots, real-time assistants, or even agents now, low latency is crucial. And Flash is optimized for those scenarios. And this slide also highlights a really neat budgeting feature, which is coming soon with 2.5 Flash, which gives you explicit control over how much reasoning the model applies. So you can let it run dynamically, which is the default, where it decides how much thought is needed, or you can set a specific token limit as well for its reasoning process. So think of it like turning a dial. So you turn it up for more complex analysis, and you turn it back down for simpler tasks. And this gives you fine-grained control over quality versus speed versus cost trade-off that we all care about. So you need a quick summary, you can set a low budget, or you need a more nuanced analysis, you can give it more room to think. And again, this will be coming soon to Vertex AI, so keep an eye out on this. Now, I know we have a global audience, and maybe some of you know already about X Games, but if you don't, X Games is a series of action sports competitions. And they provide a platform for top athletes to compete in extreme sports such as skateboarding, snowboarding, and motocross. And so we partnered with X Games to build an AI judge for X Games using Gemini. So we put together a solution to use Gemini to predict the top 3 winners during a real-time live broadcast. And so behind the scenes, we're using Gemini to analyze the stream and predict the winners, and using text-to-speech for audio generation. And X Games also gave it a name. They call it the Owl AI. And I want to play this video real quick. It's pretty cool. So you'll hear the broadcast from the Owl AI. Let's take a quick look at that.
Let's see who the Owl AI is predicting for this final.
All right, folks, what an insane practice we've witnessed here in Aspen. Based on my observations, Yuto Totsuka, Scotty James, and Ayumu Hirano were really laying it all out there. Now, it looked like everyone was holding back, saving their best for the finals. Taking into account all of our historical data and what I've seen today, here's my top 3 prediction. 3rd place, Ayumu Hirano. 2nd, Yuto Totsuka. And for the top spot, Scotty James. His consistency and those signature grabs, his innate sense of style elevates his run to another level and are what will ultimately put him over the top. Back to you, Brando.
Yo, the Owl was in the lab on that one, Krager.
All right, so it was pretty cool, right? That was all Gemini. It was taking that live stream, analyzing it, and then predicting the top 3 winners based on the skills it was asked to assess. And even the voice was all Gemini. It was text-to-speech. So it's pretty cool. And so let's talk about the architecture at a high level. So this gives you a big picture and the overall, like the high-level architecture of how we approach AI. And it's designed with that flexibility we talked about earlier. So let's break it down layer by layer, starting from the foundation. The base layer is Google's rock-solid global infrastructure. And we're talking about the essential compute resources here at this layer. And that includes the TPUs we design, the NVIDIA GPUs, and the highly efficient compute stack that we offer. And it also includes scalable storage and high-performance networking at this layer. Then it also includes the data cloud. Think BigQuery, databases, data lakes. Because having your data foundation tightly integrated with your AI platform is huge for building powerful data-driven applications, right? And this layer is optimized for demanding AI workloads. It's often referred to as our AI hypercomputer because it provides that performance and scale needed for training massive models or serving inference to millions of users. Then sitting right on top of that foundation is Vertex AI, the platform for building and managing AI. And you can see it has key components. So Model Garden, this is your starting point. Think of it as a massive library of models where you can find Google's best models like Gemini and Gemma, but then also hundreds of open source models like Llama and partner models like Claude. And there's so many more. And the goal here is to give you choice. Then there's the model builder. So think of it as the toolkit for the entire ML lifecycle, just beyond grabbing that model. And this is where you do prompt engineering, run training jobs, perform fine-tuning, run evaluations, manage deployments, and handle all aspects of MLOps that we need for production. Then there's also the agent builder, and think of it as a specialized toolkit purpose-built for creating those agents that we'll dive into shortly. And this includes the agent development kit, or ADK, as we call it. So you use that for building agents. Then there's the agent engine for running those agents. And then there's tools for connecting agents to data. So at the very top, you'll see agent space. And it's important to understand the distinction here. So while the agent builder is where we primarily build agents, agent space is the user-facing hub within an enterprise where employees can discover and interact with agents. So think of it as a storefront for agents where users can find agents built by Google, agents built by developers, or agents built by business users themselves using the no-code agent designer that we offer. And alongside, there's a set of integrated tools such as Notebook LM as well. So again, the key here is integration. So we have an optimized stack. You get the optimized infrastructure and a unified platform with choice in models and tooling, and then specialized capabilities for building and running agents. And again, I want to emphasize on Model Garden one more time, because the key here is choice. Model Garden is deliberately open. So beyond Gemini, you have access to other leading models like Gemma, Llama, Mistral, and other key partner models like Claude and many more. And this lets you truly benchmark and select the best foundation for your specific task, all managed consistently through Vertex AI. All right, so we've seen the overall platform stack. I want to focus on the model builder component within Vertex AI. And think of it as an integrated environment for all your MLOps needs. And this slide shows the high-level workflow, which really captures the iterative process we go through as ML engineers. So let's walk through it. Now, things for start in Model Garden. So this is where you discover models and all that choice we just talked about. So you grab the foundation you think is best suited for your task. And the next step usually is jumping into Vertex AI Studio for initial prompt engineering and experimentation, where you quickly see how a model responds, test different prompts, and maybe compare Gemini Flash to a Pro for a specific task before you write any code. So rapid iteration is the key here at this stage. Now, pre-trained models are powerful, but we often need to customize them to get the best results for a specific task, right? And so Vertex AI gives us several managed ways to do this. So with supervised fine-tuning, if you have labeled data, you can fine-tune models like Gemini to specialize them. So Vertex AI manages the underlying infrastructure, you provide the data, and it handles the training process. Now, for open models like Gemma or Llama, where you have the weights, you can perform full fine-tuning for maximum customization yourself. And then we also offer distillation for foundational models. So you can create small practical models from their much larger counterparts and increase performance and save on costs. And the next step is evaluating these models with our new auto side-by-side service. And this can be used for various evaluation scenarios, think comparing models, comparing predictions, or checking alignment with human raters. And so how this works is that you provide an evaluation data set of prompts, which is then passed through the models to generate responses. The auto rater then uses various rating criteria to select the best model for each prompt. And in the bottom table, you will see the criteria for summarization and questioning answering tasks. And these include quality of instruction following, relevance, comprehensiveness, and whether the response is grounded or not. Then you get the win rates for each model, as well as detailed judgment table with prompts, responses, design explanations, and confidence scores. And then once you're happy with the evaluation results, now it's time to get your model out there and keep an eye on it. So this is where the ops part in MLOps really comes into play. And so Vertex AI makes it really easy to deploy a model to manage endpoints for real-time predictions or batch predictions for offline jobs. But we know deployment isn't the end goal here. Model monitoring is needed as well. So we have model monitoring on Vertex AI, which actively tracks your live models for things like prediction drift, data skews, performance degradation. So, and if something goes wrong, you get notified. You can then automate this entire workflow from data prep through training, evaluation, and deployment, all using Vertex AI pipelines, which is all managed, which ensures consistency, reproducibility, and allows for automated retraining when monitoring detects any issues. And it also enables you to keep track of all your model versions, their performance metrics, lineage, deployment statuses, all in the model registry, which is crucial for managing models responsibly in production. So in essence, Model Builder is all about enabling that robust, repeatable path from development to production and beyond. Now, shifting gears, moving to the agent builder layer, because agents are really pushing the boundaries of what we can do with AI, right? And agents, as many of you may know, they go beyond the simple request and response model. So they can understand a goal, break it down, make a plan, and then use tools to accomplish the goal, often over multiple steps. They're more interactive and task-oriented. And now they're becoming practical largely because of the advances in models like Gemini with their strong reasoning and native ability to use tooling. So moving from models that could just answer questions to systems that can actually act on your behalf. So how do we build them, run them, and operate them? This slide shows that high-level workflow. So let's unpack each stage. The first develop stage is where you define the agent's core logic. And so one of the tools we highlighted at Next 25 just recently was this agent development toolkit or agent development kit or ADK, which is an open source Python framework. But it also supports other popular frameworks like LangChain, LangGraph, CrewAI, if you want to use those. And then there's the agent garden as well, which is packed with samples and templates using these different frameworks to help you get started faster. Then an agent without access to information or tools is pretty limited, right? And so this connect phase is all about giving your agent capabilities. So it offers vector search to index your documents or knowledge bases, which the agent can then query to retrieve relevant information and ground the responses in facts, even providing citations. And you can even connect your agent to tools and use Gemini's native function calling that allows the agent to interact with APIs or Google Cloud services like BigQuery or databases. And then once you have your agent logic connected to tools, now you need to run it reliably. And so that's why we have the agent engine for running those agents, which is now GA or generally available in multiple regions. And it's a fully managed runtime that handles the underlying infrastructure, scaling, security, and operations, so you don't have to. And because ADK or Agent Development Kit is open source, you can also deploy your agent to other containerized environments, such as GKE or Cloud Run, if you need that level of control. And then we know, again, deployment is not the end of it, end result or end goal. You need to manage the agent's lifecycle. So the agent builder integrates with other services on GCP as well, so such as the Vertex evaluation service we talked about, cloud monitoring, cloud logging, and tracing. And that allows you to understand how your agent is performing, allows you to debug issues, and continuously improve it based on real-world usage. And I want to quickly double-click into each one of these one at a time. So again, ADK was announced recently at Next 25, which is an open source Python framework for building sophisticated agents. And it's important because it's open and flexible, so you're not logged in, and it works with various tools and models. It is highly optimized for Gemini and easily leverages Gemini's streaming and native tooling capabilities. And then it also offers a mix of Python code and LLM calls, which are truly needed for that agentic behavior. And then it's also designed to be intuitive for Python devs. Now, once you've coded your agent, you need to run it reliably at scale. And so Agent Engine is the answer here. Again, it's GA in multiple regions now. And think of it as a fully managed runtime for Python agents. And it's important because it takes away the ops burden. It handles all the underlying infrastructure provisioning and management, scaling and patching, so you don't have to. It is framework agnostic, so you can deploy your agents built with ADK, LangChain, LangGraph, TrueAI, etc. And it's also integrated with other managed services on GCP, such as observability, evaluation, logging, monitoring, like we talked about earlier. And then also it offers an easy deployment model to deploy your agent code via SDKs or Terraform. And then Agent Garden, again, it provides the sample agents, templates, and tools. So you can find examples here for various use cases, often built with frameworks such as LangChain or LangGraph. And many samples also offer one-click deployment to Agent Engine, or you can also download the code. So it's a practical resource to learn from and accelerate your own agent development and learning. Now, obviously, we've talked about building an agent, running an agent. But what makes an agent truly useful, truly powerful? That is the agent's ability to do things and access information beyond just its internal knowledge, which is where the tooling comes in. So think about it. An agent needs to interact with the real world, right? And it needs to look up current information, query databases, all your internal services, and maybe execute code. Without tools, it's just a conversational model logged in a box. And so tools give your agent its hands and eyes to perform tasks. And with Vertex AI Agent Builder, we provide you a really rich ecosystem for connecting your agents to tools that they need. And so let's look at some of the main categories shown below here. First is the built-in tools, and think of them as Gemini's native superpowers that you can enable directly. And they include Google search that allows the agent to query the public web for up-to-the-minute information, which is super important for grounding responses in real-world facts. Then you also have Vertex AI Search that enables grounding on your curated enterprise data, such as documents, websites, and databases, which is how you build agents that are experts on your business, right? And the code interpreter lets the agent run and analyze code snippets, which is useful for data analysis or programming tasks. Then there's also the Google Cloud Tools, which is the second category, and it's all about securely connecting your agent to your broader Google Cloud environment and enterprise system. So if you're building on Google Cloud, this becomes really important. So you can connect your agent to internal APIs or microservices, which then become callable tools for your agents, which is really powerful for, again, integrating existing business logic into your agent code. And then there's also pre-built connectors for interacting with platforms such as Salesforce, SAP, and other enterprise databases. Then MPC refers to the Model Context Protocol, which is the open standard for securely connecting agents to data sources or tools that implement this protocol. So that is supported as well. And then you're not just limited to just using Google's tools. Vertex AI embraces an open ecosystem, and Agent Builder integrates smoothly with other popular agent frameworks and their extensive collections of pre-built tools and data loaders as well. And then also, if you have a service or tool that has an open API spec, you can make it callable by your agent as well. Now, obviously, we've talked about building agents, running agents, tools available. But as engineers building real-world applications, we know just using features is not cool enough. What we build needs to be reliable, secure, and trustworthy. I want to quickly touch on these pillars shown here because they're what allow us to innovate confidently, starting with data governance and privacy, which is table stakes, right? So because we have to protect user data and our enterprise data if you are building for your company on GCP. And the core principle on Google Cloud is simple. Your data is your data. It is not used to train any of Google's foundational models, period. Then building on Google also means inheriting a secure foundation. But Vertex AI also offers specific controls relevant to AI workloads. So we offer things like VPC service controls that help you create secure perimeter around your AI services. We support customer managed encryption keys that gives you control over encryption. and access transparency that provides visibility. Also, the GCP platform where all of this runs provides supports various compliance standards, which is crucial for many industries. Then our applications also need to be dependable, right? So Vertex AI services like the agent engine we talked about, managed endpoints we touched on, they're all designed for high availability and scalability, because they're running on that global Google infrastructure. And the reliability also ties back to grounding, because building models and agents that can produce factually accurate results reduces errors and improves user trust. And then increasingly, sustainability matters too. And at Google, we focus on efficient infrastructure, including custom TPUs that are designed for energy efficiency for AI workloads. And then last but not the least, our approach to AI is built on established AI principles. And practically, this means things like built-in safety filters in the Gemini API to block harmful content. But then Vertex AI also includes responsible AI tooling to help evaluate models for fairness and bias. And Google also provides a safety toolkit for developers using the open Gemma models if you want to implement those similar safeguards yourself. But these pillars, they're not just corporate checkboxes. They're integral parts of the platform designed to give us, all engineers, the confidence to build and deploy powerful AI solutions responsibly. Well, I guess we skimmed through it. Yeah, that's the end of my deck now. Obviously, we looked at how you can start building with Gemini and Vertex AI today. Talked about Gemini 2.5 Pro, the flexibility of the platform, how you can weave in MLOps best practices, and the exciting potential of building AI agents using ADK and Agent Engine. Again, the platform is constantly evolving, the space is constantly evolving, but the idea was to give you enough to build powerful integrated systems and tools to innovate faster. With that, I again thank you for your time. I can open up for some questions now.
Yeah, I'm going to add the questions back in. Here they come.
Oh, no, okay. Let me. What's the first question?
So Sunny here from Telangana. Well,
Guys, sure. Go ahead, Sunny. Sorry, you were saying something, Sunny?
You're not audible, Sunny.
Okay.
yeah,
Are
yeah,
you
yeah.
speaking? Okay.
So I have a startup which is in the. Am I audible?
Yeah, Sunny, you are.
Yes, yes. Okay. I have a startup which is in the tech, and I need to build a AI agent, but in the cloud there is like premium subscriptions, right? So rather than that, is there any free AI agents that I can build?
Let me understand your question, Sunny. Are you saying you want to build agents, but on cloud you have to pay a subscription? Is that what your question was?
Yes, that's what the question is.
Well, you will have to run the agent somewhere, and there's no subscription per se that I know of. So obviously, you'll need to sign up for let's say GCP to kind of make use of the agent engine. But then you can quickly get started. Just use your email and or you can use open source libraries as well. Obviously, like we talked about, you can use LangChain, LangGraph, or even Hugging Face libraries to start building agents.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. And if you have any questions, obviously, I can leave my email as well. So any of you guys, if you have any questions, you can feel free to send us those questions, and then we can get in touch with you and make sure you have the right answers. Okay, I'm going through the.
Here. Got it.
Yeah, go ahead, Aziza.
I also pinned the questions in the chat here, but sent them to you.
Yeah, I'm going through those now. Okay. So again, Gemini 2.5 Flash is not GA'd yet. I cannot, unfortunately, I won't be able to kind of give you any concrete answers around it. How the budgeting works and how the token budget works. So let it be G8 first, and then we can definitely answer your questions. How did it perform on the outcome? Michael, I'm assuming you are referring to the XAI, Owl AI outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it predicted those top 3 winners with high level of accuracy. And if you want to look it up, Owl AI with for X Games, they went public with the blog post, and so I'm assuming they were happy with the results, and that's why they went public with the results.
That's another question. What's your obviously you guys have a great context window, but what's the limit typically on your inference output? That's one of the challenges I have when I'm trying to do Python coding is I've got thousands of lines and the model wants to stop on the inference output of that.
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's been a concern for people kind of starting to use these models. And like I mentioned, when we're going over Gemini 2.5 Pro, that's one model that offers like a 1 million token context window, so which is pretty huge, and that can, I believe, cover like a huge ground, code bases and hours of videos as well. Yeah, so that's 1 million tokens right now, but 2 million hopefully soon down the road.
Yeah, so the question is more of where I'm having the problem is more on the output of the inference, right? So I can give it 1 million tokens, but it only wants to produce 250K or something like that on the output side, and it'll stop during the middle of the rewriting of the code.
I see. Yeah, let me so sorry, what was your question, like how can you kind of get over those limits? Was that the question?
Yeah, that would be a second question. The question was really more is what's the output limit? When I've done a little bit of research, I'm hearing 125K and those types of things as far as the token output at one time. And so with these greater, you're going 1 million, 2 million context window, but if you're limiting it as to 125K output, it kind of caps it a bit, right?
I get that, and to be honest, I don't recall what that limit is off the top of my head, but I will have to look at it, and then I can definitely get back to you on this, Michael. Maybe there's workarounds that we can kind of guide you on as well. So yeah, I will reach out to you for sure. I think Marlon, you have a similar question around Owl AI. Were the human judges sequestered? To be honest, I am not sure. That's an honest answer. But again, because Owl AI went public with those results, I'm assuming they were happy with those results. When is agent space becoming available? Well, agent space is available now. It has different tiers, but you will have to sign up still. You can use it on the GCP platform. How are these agents monitored in production level? Sudeep has this question. Well, like I mentioned, these agentic systems, or if you're using ADK or any other library for building these agents and running these agents on Agent Engine, they integrate with other GCP services. So we have cloud monitoring and logging and tracing, and all of those combined, can allow you to kind of monitor your agents in production. And if you want, there's a if you guys missed the Google developer keynote during Next, which was just last week, I think we did a demo of this where on stage we showed how you're building agents, but then also I think we introduced like a blip on purpose to obviously kind of show like how you can monitor your agents in production. So if you want to look it up on YouTube, please feel free to, or we can share that YouTube video with you as well. I hope that answers the question, Sudeep.
Yes, it answers
What
the
is
question.
the training approach?
Yeah.
Okay,
I have
thank
one
you.
more question regarding the privacy and data leakage. So basically, while we're working on an enterprise solution, right, the data is the most important part. They are very sensitive, and client are more focused on that. So because it's already in GCP, so obviously these models are not taking those data in any way, obviously. But how reliable, or what do you think about the privacy and data leakage and prompt injection and all those attacks that may come into the agent ecosystems?
That's a great question, and I think we touched upon this, during the presentation. And again, the answer is, again, Google is not going to make use of any of your data, and then we also give you tools to kind of protect your data and create perimeters around your kind of environment. So obviously, VPC service controls. You have different kind of security tooling around it. There's security command center, and there's so many different tools that we offer, and obviously you can pick and choose the tool that you would like to use and what makes sense to you. But then, yeah, we do offer like a toolkit, or like so many, like an assortment of different options that kind of can ensure that your data is protected and secure at all times. Yeah, so again, we may kind of need to dive a bit deeper, and there's other sessions happening as well. I have some of my peers kind of diving into some of those areas, and I think maybe what we could do is send you links, or probably AI Camp would somehow you would get to know. But yeah, there's deeper dives happening around those areas as well. We want to make sure that your concerns are answered, and you feel confident building on GCP. Okay, would love to see a tech stack starting from what user interacts with to backend, like LLM, etc. Okay, I'm trying to understand this question. Oh, Wally, do you mean you would like to see some real kind of examples of how people are building these, building using the Gemini model? If you want to speak up, or you could also type it in the chat as well. But I'll note down your email. Thank you for sharing that, and then we can definitely follow up with you. Sierra says, I was going into data analytics, but quickly realized that AI could potentially take over that field. Do you have any advice for a student going into this field? Please take any advice I give, even if by accident, with a grain of salt. I think data analytics is really, I think you could still, work in the data analytics field. I have so many peers and people at Google that are doing so much, in that field, and it's super relevant, especially with machine learning. Data is the foundation. So yeah. Again, I don't know what to say, but I think it's still relevant for sure. As a beginner diving in, creating AI agents, Gemini AI, what should be my starting point? Garv. Well, I would say, if you already know about, how to use LLMs, and if you already have that solid foundation, then building agents is just about using the ADK or any other open source library for kind of building agents. But then if you're starting from ground zero, then I would suggest learning more about how LLMs work, how context windows work, and how tooling works. There's a bunch of YouTube videos on our GCP channel, and if you want to share your email, we can kind of share some content with you as well. Okay, Alan says, I've been using 2.5 Pro within GitHub Copilot. It's amazing. All right, thank you, Alan. Any code labs you would recommend that walk you through all aspects of this? That's a great question, Mark. Let me look it up. Again, this space is evolving so quick. It's hard to keep up, but I'm certain there are some code labs for sure, and then we can definitely point you to those. So if you again want to share your email, or maybe Nisha, you have emails for all those who joined, maybe we could kind of share some collateral, after this call as well.
Yeah, sure. You guys do connect us either over LinkedIn, or you can mail us, or you can share your questions on Discord, so that we can pass on those questions to our guest speakers and get back to you with valid answers. And yes, to ask questions, more questions to clear your doubts.
And again, I mean, if you guys don't want to share your emails here, I think Nisha shared my LinkedIn as well, or maybe it's
Yes.
on the AI Camp kind of the portal for today. Feel free to hit me up on LinkedIn, and then I can definitely get back to you guys that way. And Sunny, same for you. You're looking for support for your startup. I'm definitely interested in helping you. So feel free to add me, and then we can talk there. Priyanshu, what is the training approach for this new Gemini 2.5? Do you mean behind the scenes? Unfortunately, if that is the question, I won't be able to share any details about the 2.5 Pro models at this point. I guess we're repeating the questions now. Jayash, thank you so much. The agents are good to automate a lot of manual and repeated work, but how do you provide a monitoring control configuration for those agents in case the agent goes haywire? Ashish, that's a great question, and I think for that reason, again, at its foundation, the agent is using a foundational model, right? So monitoring again for any skews or accuracy or results, that becomes important. So again, you want to make sure using those MLOps best practices, using monitoring tools and tracing and logging different steps to kind of understand how your agent is actually performing, because you're right, they are very kind of they have that nature where they could kind of decide on how to proceed about a given task. But again, you got to make use of those MLOps best practices. I want us to central console to see manage these agents, turn them down. Okay, again, so we with the things we talked about, agent engine, if you want to kind of if you have a GCP account, just feel free to check it out on GCP. I think that would answer your questions. Again, any code labs, we'll look for those and maybe send those out after this call. I believe this talk is recorded, Steven, so you will be able to find it on the AI Camp YouTube channel, or Nisha, if you want to send it out later.
Yes, I've shared the link over chat. You can get the links from there. So we'll upload this recording over our YouTube channel. If you have missed anything, you can go with that. Yeah.
And Alan, exactly, I think AI is a big enabler for all of us, in this day and age. I think we should all kind of make use of AI, not be scared of it. That's what I would say. How can we ensure ethical and unbiased decision making in large scale AI systems in critical areas such as healthcare, criminal justice, finance, and user trust? Let me read this again. How can we ensure? Again, I think if you're building your own kind of models, obviously you will have to bake in the security, safety, ethical best practices. It all starts with your data. You have to make sure your data is not biased. I think those are like some foundational kind of aspects of it. But like if you're using the models we talked about, GCP's Gemini and models in the Gemini family, or any of Google's models, we kind of try to follow those AI best practices and principles. And we have a full kind of portal that talks about how we approach AI. So if you want, happy to share that with you as well. And then again, we offer tooling to make sure that we can gain your trust and make sure that you're confident building on GCP's tools and tech. Jayesh, again, thank you. How can API management and AI go hand in hand? Do you want to expand on this question? I'm not sure, but if you mean, if you have APIs and you're building agents, how can agents make use of those APIs? If that's a question, again, that would happen through tooling. But if you want to expand on that, I'm happy to revisit this. Okay, Nisha, that's you. Building and hosting a voice agent. Google Listen. I think Jeff, if you want to expand on that, I'm not sure what estimate you're looking for. Like is that a dollar estimate? If so, we can point you to the official kind of pricing documentation of and kind of you could see how, what that would add up to. I won't be able to answer that off the top of my head. I'm sorry. I think there's still a lot of questions. I won't be able to get through all of those. Nisha, have you captured these, Aziza, Nisha? And we can kind of maybe answer those offline. There's still so many.
Yes, I
Yeah,
captured.
sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I had them all captured, and I asked everyone to pin their questions so that it's easier for you to access them.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, some really interesting questions, guys. And I'm sorry, there's limited time, and there's still like I think 10, 15 more questions. And I think it would make sense to just again have a follow-up, and then again, you guys have my LinkedIn. Please feel free to hit me up, and then more than happy to answer your questions.
Yes, you can either ping us on Discord. We will pass on those questions. And also, meanwhile, let me quickly share the screen.
Sure, I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, there's also a good question here about building SAS utilizing the agentive workflows. Are these agents able to be called via webhook?
I'm sorry, where's that question, Aziza?
It's from Julian Harris at 951. Could you build a SAS utilizing the agentive workflows, and are these agents able to be called via webhook?
I'm trying to understand the question, but if the question is like, can the agents be called via webhooks? Yeah, I believe so, because you can deploy an agent at an endpoint and then have that become the have a webhook kind of hook into that and trigger that. So I think again, this is a very kind of quick answer, but there's a very quick answer, but yeah, I believe so. Like you can deploy it at an endpoint and kind of have it hooked into like a webhook. Yeah, but again, thank you guys. I really have to drop for another call, but it's
Thank
lovely.
you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bon. Thank you for your time, and thank you for sharing us insights about Model Garden and take us through the model development and agent development. So
Sure.
yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining
Thank you,
us.
Bon.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vaughn.
Thank you.
And
Really insightful.
Thank you.
meanwhile,
Thank you, Bon.
meanwhile, guys, can you please scan this QR code and share us a feedback? How did you find the talk, and what you want us to improve for our next talk? And thank you, Aziza, for your support.
Thank you.
And you guys have our LinkedIn handle. I have pinged in a chat. Let me ping it again. Do join us to connect with us over LinkedIn. We keep on sharing updates about our upcoming events. And also, if you would like to speak up at our upcoming events, then you can submit your topic and it will go for a validation first. And once validated, you'll be able to speak up. So guys, do share your topics and share your expertise. I have pinged all the necessary links. You can take it from our chat, and also please do share your feedback. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.
If you want to get answers about your Q&A, you can ping us on Discord. Definitely, we will get back to you with answers. And also, you have, let me share our guest speaker, Sethi's LinkedIn handle.